What it do? What's happening for real, y'all? This is going to be off the top of the dome. Freestyle Friday, 106 in Park, AJ and Free, AOBT back in his glory days. All right, whatever. It's enough joking around, whatever. So, first and foremost, I wanna get this off. This is in no way, shape, or form a response to uh, any creator or any group of creators or any group of individuals in any way, shape, or form or fashion or whatever. Um, Cause I will say some things that might piss some of y'all off to keep it a buck. And listen, man, here's the thing: my door is always open. If anybody got an issue, if anybody got a problem, if anybody feel like I'm calling them out, my email is right there in the contact section of the about page, so you can hit me up and we can chop it up and we can make it all gravy there. As for the rest of you niggas who are going to clip parts of this and go run to r backslash whatever half dead subreddit that y'all be subscribed to and say Bill said, eat a dick, your daddy's a hoe, I should know. Anyway, I digress. um I wanna to make this video because I know that some of y'all have been seeing some of the posts that I've been making over the past couple of days, but everybody don't see those posts, and I think that it's important because in all of the videos that are being made, I don't really see this point being made, and I really think that it's something that, especially on this side of the YouTube sphere, has to be pressed upon. As far as what my actual opinions on Charlie Kirk are, um, if you gotta ask, dog, you ain't been paying attention to this channel for like the past 3 or 4 years that I've been posting to it. But if you are new, and I'll give you the grace if you're new, um, Jesse Gender did a video a couple of days ago that pretty much sums up my thoughts in a nutshell. But the fact that that video exists is kind of the point that I want to get at today, right? The fact that any Charlie Kirk videos exist is what I'm trying to get at here. And this video is not necessarily, the one that I'm making is not really for creators. It is to a certain degree, but really it's for niggas like Anime Otaku for 2069, or Blue Balls 2020. I need you to understand something, is that when you post, when you share, when you tweet, when you do whatever you're doing, understand that you are not Jesse Gender. You are not FD Signifier. You are not Lil Bill. You understand? You are not Hassan Piker. In other words, your digital footprint is not so large to the point that if something happens to you that don't smell right, anybody outside of your immediate friends and family is going to recognize that, let alone say something about it. And I don't think that enough. I think especially in this space, part of our responsibility as creators is to look out for the best interest of the people who make these channels possible. And it's one thing for us to sit up here and to give our opinions, which, again, y'all should already know my opinion. It's one thing for us to give our opinions, but at the same time, I think that it is part of our responsibility to look out for the well-being of folk that may be watching and think that they can do what we can do just because they share the same types of opinions. I need y'all to understand that in the past several months, I know personally of people who have lost jobs. I know personally of people who have been harassed by ICE. Matter of fact, I'm sitting outside of the church right now. We just got done doing some yard work. Y'all know that if you've been keeping up with with this channel, this church is where I do basically all of my organizing, activate, whatever you want to call it. This is HQ for that. And every Thursday, we give out meals, hot meals, and we also give out produce. this neighborhood that I'm in now, like I said, I'm literally like a hop, skip, not even a jump away from where I grew up. Like I could literally walk to my old house now and be back here in like 30 minutes. It's a predominantly Spanish speaking neighborhood. A lot of I'm going to stop talking at that point. Point being that we have a lot of folk in this neighborhood who have stopped showing up for for that initiative because the black vans have driven through here. You understand what I'm saying? They have stopped people in that line. You understand? And we had to have somebody there to be the go-between to say, no, y'all can't do that. If you ain't got no warrant, then you can't be harassing these people. You understand what I'm saying? My daughter's dance studio is right around the corner from here. Again, this is a predominantly Spanish speaking neighborhood. So the studio had to be shut down for about a week because the black vans were coming through. What I'm saying is that there are real life consequences to when you say crazy stuff online. There are real life consequences, not just for people like me, but for people like y'all who may not have the audience, who may not have a big enough footprint to be able to make a video and say, so and so is harassing me, so and so is doing this, so and so is doing that. And I need y'all to be careful and to be judicious with who and how and where you share your opinions, especially if you're only sharing those opinions with folk who already agree with you. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, what is the end game here? Is it catharsis? Catharsis only goes but so far. I hate this idea where we romanticize the idea of a martyr. I say this all the time, is that everybody wants to die for the revolution, but don't nobody want to do the dishes. You know why Black Power died? It wasn't because there weren't enough martyrs. It was because there were way too many. Too many niggas getting shot, too many niggas going to jail, too many niggas fleeing, placing themselves in exile so that they don't wind up shot or in jail. And then black radicalism isn't taken seriously in mainstream again until at least Trayvon Martin at the earliest. You understand what I'm saying? What y'all got to realize, and I don't say this to throw shade at anybody because I'm a creator myself, but what y'all got to understand is that EOD, we may have different, some of us have backgrounds in law, some of us have backgrounds in education, some of us have backgrounds like myself in labor and in nonprofit organization, and even in political, in the legislative field. But when we get in front of this camera, and when we have a microphone in our face, I cease being William. You understand what I'm saying? I become Lil Bill. I become an entertainer. The fact that this video is not going to get monetized, and I don't know if anybody else's videos are monetized or not, but the stone cold fact of the matter is somebody is going to watch this video and they're going to subscribe to this channel for no other reason than because I made this video. Therefore, there is a material benefit to me expressing my opinions on this past weekend's events. Why do you think so many niggas are rushing to get their Charlie Kirk takes out before the weekend is over? Because they're trying to strike while the iron is hot so that they can draw as many eyes and as much interaction as possible. That's how the game works. Again, y'all are not us, and I don't say that as shade. I don't say that to be disparaging, but I say that to make the point that we need you out there. The revolution, as much as this become a cliche, the revolution ain't going to be televised, dog. The revolution ain't going to come by way of a live stream, and it ain't going to come by way of a YouTube. Dickheads. It's just not going to happen that way. We may give you the education, we may give you the tools, but just creating videos like these are not necessarily going to, you know how, you know what you can do with your opinions? Instead of sharing them in an unsafe space where right-wing nut jobs are now doxing people's accounts and posting them on websites where I have read news stories from legit media publications talking about folk losing jobs and having their work visas being denied work visas or having them retracted because they said something sideways about this nigga that got shot in the neck. People, and this has been the main source of pushback that I've been getting from folks. Oh, well, Bill, he was a fascist, fascist this, fascist that, and it's okay because he was a fascist, it's okay because of what he stood for, it's okay for me to make jokes, I have the moral high ground in this. I ain't gonna argue with you on that. But just because you can do something, don't necessarily mean it's in your best interest to do so. We have a bad habit in this space of largely being reactionary, reacting to shit with no real end game in mind. And then when that reaction comes back to bite us on the ass, now we look at here, there, and everywhere saying, oh, fascist, fascist, fascist. Then nigga, learn how to move in a fascist state. You understand what I'm saying? In the words of the great Wheezy F Baby, the F is for phenomenal, spelled with a P. Real G's move in silence, like lasagna. You understand what I'm saying? I say all of this because some of y'all might be sitting there and saying, well, Bill, where's my outlet? Bill, what do I do with my feelings? What do I do with this opinion? I don't have the platform that you have to spread awareness. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have 100,000, 200,000, however many followers or viewers or whatever the case may be. You know what you can do with your opinion? Instead of sharing it with folk online that you may never meet, folk who may just be a dummy account, a Fed using a robot in order to get you to divulge more information than you need to, you can take that opinion and you can share it with people that you have connections with in real life. You understand what I'm saying? Or even if you can't, share that opinion online in spaces where you can do more with that opinion besides just sharing it and circle jerking each other off for having said opinion. But use that energy to form community. Use that energy to form the foundations of what makes revolution possible. Everybody is expecting a big R bang of a revolution, but you know what's revolutionary, and I say this all the time, is buying a bag of groceries for your neighbor who's a little old lady who don't know how to use Instacart, who don't know how to use DoorDash, so now she's relying on somebody to go pick up groceries for her. You understand what I'm saying? Revolution is starting a group chat with like-minded people and saying, these are the issues that we see in our neighborhood. These are the issues that we see in our community. These are the issues that we see nationally. All right, we're going to do X and Y and Z and A, B, C, and D in order to address these things. Revolution is not getting your hashtag edgy humor jokes off about a fascist being assassinated. That's not what that is. Again, all that is catharsis. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, what practical purpose does catharsis serve other than a quick hit of dopamine before you go to bed, and the next thing you know, open up, it's the police. So I say all of that to admonish y'all. Be careful, man. Be safe, dog. Be smart, dog. Especially in this day and age in which we're living. And I know a lot of you are going to say, Bill, but they're already raining hell down on us. Don't ever say that it can't get any worse. I've made that mistake. Y'all want to know why y'all call me Unc even though I'm barely 34? I literally just turned 34. You want to know why? Oh, my glasses just broke. That means it's time to get off. You want to know why? It's because I've lived a hell of a lot of life in a very short amount of time. And if I ain't learned anything else, don't ever say it can't get worse, especially not when you're dealing with the feds. That part I don't know, and I pray that I never know it. But it can always get worse than what it is, especially if you're American. Whoo, boy. Y'all don't know what bad look like. Y'all do not know. So, yeah, dog. Be safe, be smart, God bless, and be easy. Deuces.